Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. And today, it's Friday. And unfortunately, we're doing a show, but there's a big game on in Euros. So we're going to keep it short, keep it simple. And we're going to go in. This show should have been 2 weeks ago. We should have recapped on this show, which is to do with the coaching staff at Manchester United. But unfortunately, today is the day that we're recapping. So we would like to say welcome, Monza. Welcome to the channel. You're making your debut with myself and Amonde today, but you've been on the channel prior. As always, Big Phil, part of furniture. Big Phil, we're not moving him with his chest out, always. And as always, sitting alongside me is Amonde. Guys, how are we all doing today?
Good.
Right.
We're doing well, man. Doing well.
Doing well. We're repping different. Well, I'm repping different jersey today, but it's all right though. We got it. So today, guys, we're all happy enough to know that Jadon Sancho is a Manchester United player. We're also happy to know there's rumours of more transfers that's going through. But part of the show, what we're discussing today is Manchester United. Is their philosophy with the coaching staff? Do they need improving? Do we need better coaching staff at Manchester United? Or should we just stick with what we have for this season and see how we get on through the season? Or will it be a little too late? So let's start off with Monza, brand new to the channel. So let's throw you in the deep end. Normally we'll go around the house first and then we'll come to the guys who are quite new doing stuff with us. Jadon Sancho deal. Man United's got quite a lot of young players within the squad. We sometimes criticise the coaching staff. Man United last season conceded 49% of goals through set pieces. So let's start off with you. And do you find it a fault? It's to do with the coaching staff, or do you just think the club as Manchester United is so big that not a lot of players there can actually handle themselves?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think it is the coaching staff. I still don't know what Mike Phelan does. You know, he's been there under Fergie. I see him sitting on the bench. I just think, yeah, remember when you used to go to football with your dad or something like that, or your granddad? Do you know what I mean? Sitting there with your granddad's not really interested. Do you know what I mean? That's what it looks like. It just looks like sitting on the bench, not interested at all. I'm not really sure what Ollie. Thing is, I don't know really that with Ollie, his in-game management's poor. Setting up fine, but in-game is poor. Like when they bring subs on and subs off. But then I thought Mike Phelan would have been saying, "Look, do this, do that," but I don't know. I don't know if Ollie's gone in there and said, "Right, I'm going to do this, this, and this," and they've set back and said, "Right, we'll just do the training." But in game, there's something not right. But some games, one week they're brilliant. Next week, you just think, "Oh my God, not this again." Do you know what I mean? You wait for the 60th, 70th minute for a sub when we should be subbing at half time, or even what Mourinho done, subbing first half. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't mind that, but. Something's not right. I'm not sure if it's a training. I'm not too keen on the zonal marking. I don't think that works. I think it's better man for man. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really. You know, there seems to be too many coaches for the actual job. But I'll see what happens next year. If he gets all the players he wants, and we've got a really good team, and we still don't by Christmas, if we're not top 4, then it might be bye. But I'm not sure. There's something not right there.
With the likes of coaches like your Michael Carrick, now I don't see what Michael Carrick brings because he doesn't have the experience. He's only just passed his coaching badges when he was at Man United still as a player. And for me, as a coach, I do believe you should go out, get the experience, and then come back into the club. Now, Juan Mata signed a new 1-year contract deal today. And the 1-year contract deal apparently is to do with him being part of the coaching staff. So let's go off with Monday with this one, because to be honest with you, that sounds very cheap. Like the owners don't want to go out and actually spend money on someone who's going to be good enough. And also with Juan Mata signing a new contract, his actual wages is dropped as well.
Yeah, I like Mata. I had a big discussion on Twitter today
about this Mata issue because people are complaining about him. Why are we signing him? He's obviously not going to be playing. He's going to be taking up places for the youths to come in and play. I don't agree. I think, look, all we can do today is speculate about what goes on behind the scenes. We don't actually know. We can only see them play on the pitch and the results. We're not at the training ground. We don't know who's making all the key decisions, but we can just make an assessment and a judgment based on what we're seeing on the pitch. For example, you gave a stat about zonal marking and things like that. And we can also judge it by the philosophy where we're bringing in youth players a lot of the time. We've had 5 debuts last season from youth players that have come through the academy. And we've got some crazy stats about how many youth players played in the squad. So that's a good thing. We like to see that happening. I hope so. I hope you all agree we like to see that happening. Yeah. So anyway, as Mata's concerned, I think Mata is a great player. I think if you're a young player and you're on the training field and you look around, you see Mata there and the way he plays ball. I love the way he plays. I love everything about him. His style of play, his intelligence, and he seems, I'm speculating again, but from what he's never let me down. He seems like a really nice guy, a bit like Hiera. Spanish guys come friendly, nice, and so it's a great person to have around the club. So I'm all for it if he's going to be on the coaching staff. I don't mind that at all. Now that you've clarified that for me, I think that's a lot better for me. He will do well with the youngsters. He will have a good rapport with the youngsters. The youngsters will look up to him, and his style of play, his professionalism is something that should rub off on the players. I don't know what you think, Big Phil, but I was going to ask you about we're talking about the coaches here, but do we have to sort of, like we say, speculate? Do we have to look at Ollie as well? Because as far as I'm concerned, I was always going about Ollie last year. It's Ollie's fault. And now we're talking about the coaching staff, like we're giving him a break. I think there's something wrong, inherent, like Munzi said, in the club about the zonal marking, decision-making, all that kind of thing. I think Ollie needs to take responsibility because he's the one who's going to have his head chopped at the end of the day. What do you think, Big Phil?
No, you're absolutely right, and it's funny. I'll get to Ollie in a moment. I was actually on a podcast last night, right, and I was told that Michael Carrick is starting to adopt a Sir Alex Ferguson attitude, in that he's pulling players to the side and telling them straight up, get with the program or go out, right? And that was news to me. I never heard any outlets mention that. I've never even thought of Michael Carrick as the person to have that sort of persona, right? Because going to seeing Michael Carrick as a football player from Manchester United, he never really demanded that sort of I don't want to say respect, but he didn't have that attitude as a Roy Keane or maybe a Wayne Rooney, or if you had a Patrick Vieira, right? Those guys you can tell are ruthless, right? Now, to bring the word ruthless back into Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the team, is anybody on our current coaching staff ruthless? Do any of them have the cojones to say, you know what, either do it this way or hit the highway, right? Mm-hmm. Or if you're given an attitude and you like to sulk, either get with the program or get out, right? In my opinion, I don't know if there's anybody on the coaching staff who has that attitude. And if it's true that Carrick is adopting that attitude, I want to see it for myself, right? To come back to Amanda mentioning youth players, right? Now, you have to ask yourself, with all of these signings that we're making, and we're looking to take the club into a direction that is going to have squad depth, does that squad depth include youth players, or does that squad depth include some of the current first team players who are not good enough to play for Manchester United's first team, and we're just going to replace them with better quality players? That's a question I can probably put towards you guys as well too, right?
So looking at that, you're saying, Big Phil, you're talking about Michael Carrick trying to adopt this new bad person at Man United. So if that's the case, then that shows and pinpoint there is problems within the club and within the coaching staff and within the management level. Because again, as manager, I'm a manager myself, and normally you have the manager that plays like the good cop, and your sort of junior deputy manager, he normally plays the bad cop. But in my role, I play the good cop on the bad cop. At Man United, you do not have the time to get your deputy to be playing the bad cop. You're the manager. if results do not go your way, your head is on the chopping block, like what Armando just said.
Yep.
And the simple fact of them. Go on.
Sorry. Do you not think Ollie's done that with, he's got rid of Fellaini, he's got rid of a couple of players.
Lukaku as well.
He's got. To be fair, I'm surprised he got rid of Herrera, but Herrera wanted more money, so he said, "Right, see you later. Out you go." Fellaini, Romero looks like he's going. Not Phil Jones, but Smalling, which I thought was a shock. Smalling going. He has done it, and he does seem to be a bit, but he's not experienced. You look at all the other managers, he's not experienced enough. But who would you get if Ollie wasn't there? As I said before, I'm not Ollie in or Ollie out. I'm on the fence. But I do know this year, if he gets his signings this year and he don't get it right by Christmas, he's out. And he deserves to be out.
I agree with Munzi, because I think a month ago, I'm the exact same thing, right? I'll be real. I'm all in right now, but I'm giving all 15 games. If that 15 games just happen to tie into the Christmas period, then sure, right? I already have the criteria in my mind as to what Ole has to achieve with regards to the table, what position he has to be in, and also how the team should be playing with regards to a specific philosophy, right? Yeah. So I do agree with Munzi on that point.
So we're talking about Munzi. You made some great point there, and also Big Phil, you made some great points there with it. But Munzi, I'm going to go back to you now, because you said about, obviously we got rid of Fellaini, we got rid of Michael Smalling, as I like to call him. But what you find is, and I honestly believe, this is nothing to do with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, them going. I honestly don't believe it's anything to do with them going. I think it's to do with upstairs, like the hierarchy, saying these players need to move on. Lukaku, apparently, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer begged him to stay. But obviously, if Lukaku went, there must be sign of he knows he wants to go and win trophy. He knows Man United ain't going to win nothing for a few years, because obviously he's looking at the coaching staff and realizing how he's been coached. So if he's looking at those people and thinking how he's coached, you got to remember when he was at Man United as well. You got to remember with Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho was almost getting to play like a Harry Kane role, right? What Harry Kane's playing right now, and you can't use him as a player with his physique and his attribute. Yes, he didn't have a great touch on the ball, but at the same time, put him in the box. He's a fox in the box. The guy can get goals. So I agree at some point with you, but Monty, then I don't agree with the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting rid of those guys out of the club.
Well, they did interview, I think it was Ferdinand or someone like that, who played with Solskjaer, Ollie, and they did say he has got a ruthless side. I do think it was him. I can see where he's coming from. That end of the day, the border hopeless. Ed Woodward's gone now. And you can see by the transfer of Sancho, do you know what I mean? Woodward goes, and all of a sudden Sancho's here because we've got people in there that know about football. So, yeah, it's not, you could blame everyone. You could blame the board, you could blame Ollie. But as I said before, I think if Ollie don't get it right towards December time, and he gets who he got, it's to be, at the moment he's got no excuse now. He's got people in place to get transfers in. If he gets all the transfers he wants, and he ain't producing come December, then he's out. And I know he has to be fair, he wouldn't have got this much time at any other club because he's not a legend at every other club. But to be honest, I think this is the year. If he don't get it right, then he's gone. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. But I do believe that he was ruthless and he did get rid of them.
So Armando, you go with this last one, and then before we go
with I think you all know. I think he should have gone already based on the time he's been there already. He hasn't produced. We don't have a brand of football, and buying new players is not going to improve the brand of football. They're just coming into a system. When you bring a player into the club, it'd be like, well, all right, boss, what? How do you play? How do you want me to play? What's he going to say? I don't know, because judging by what I'm seeing on the pitch, we can't break teams down. We don't have a real philosophy, a brand of football, style of play. I'm really struggling to actually articulate what it is out there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's where I have an issue with Ollie. You can't miraculously, this system come into place suddenly or the style of play come in just from getting better players in. Or thing. Otherwise, we just keep going and get players in and let the players do the job. What do you need the manager for? The manager's there to implement the style and the way forward and how we play our game. And I'm not, to be honest, there's been, like we said, there was games last season where I wasn't happy with the performance and how we couldn't break teams down, and we were struggling out there a lot of the time. So yeah, if compared to, I'm measuring it with the teams who are our peers at the moment, like Man City, even Chelsea, they're Champions League winners, and Liverpool. Look what they've done in the last couple of years. They're ahead of us in that respect. They have a style of play. I want us to match them in that department.
So, guys, before I open up, sorry, Monzi, I'm going to cut you there. Before we open up the conversation, and we're just going to float between each other now, I want some comments to be read out. But before we read the comments out, I'm going to plant a seed in your head and just remember it for when we go to the part 2 of what we're going to discuss. Monzi, you said about, I'm going to use your analysis about what you said. So what it is, you said when Ole gets the right players in the club, then obviously if he doesn't succeed, then what's next for him? But I'm going to put something in. I'm going to say Ole has the right players in Man United right now, but will there be an excuse when he's still not getting it right and the coaching staff not getting it right? But then it's going to be a flip side is, oh, well, he didn't get the money to spend. Okay, so that's the part 2 we're going to come to, yeah? So
okay.
Take it away, Amonde.
Okay, so good evening, Charles Williams, Liverpool fan.
Hello, Charles.
Always comes and represents and supports us. So
Respect.
big up, Anthony Herbert, who
Hello, Anthony.
always gets the quiz answers right. So Anthony
Go
Herbert,
ahead.
this is to do with your point, I think, Big Phil. He says, I think youth players, you got to count them in for next season. He's impressed with Greenwood, what Greenwood did last year, and for you guys, but his question, would the Greenwood and all that get enough games now next season?
I'm more talking like the likes of like maybe Shortire and Elanga, right? Because Greenwood has been a first teamer for the last 3 seasons now, so I don't really consider him a youth player by stature. You consider him youth by age, yeah. He's only 19 years old, but he's been a first teamer for the last probably 2.5, 3 years now, right? So I mean, do the current guys in the team who aren't good enough for the first team, do they then move to the
name and shame quickly? Who are they? Who are we saying here? Fred.
I'll say Fred. I'll say Lindelof.
Bailey.
Tellers.
I'll say Bailly and Tellers for now, but I will not. I'm on the defensive Bailly because at the end of the day, we still need a centre back. If we don't get a centre back, in my opinion, Bailly should be starting next to Maguire.
Martial.
I'm going to say he is a first teamer because he is the only player that we have that can hold up the ball back to goal. Rashford is poor at it. Greenwood is poor at it as well. Only him and Cavani.
Cavani.
But Amanda, can you see Cavani playing 30+ games for us next season?
No, you're right there.
Exactly. That's why I say Martial and Cavani are first team players, right? That's all.
Lingard.
Yeah. What's going to happen, Lingard? What do you think?
Well, there's rumours. Apparently, he's going to sign a new contract, 3-year contract at Man United. Rumours are.
Well, here we go. So going back to the questions here, Charles is saying, Ed, talking about Woodward, he's not gone into the end of the year. I know we made a mistake the other day, said July.
July.
I thought it was December.
July.
No, they moved it forward.
July. Oh, brilliant.
Because it's basically after this whole Super League thing, it's moved till July, end of July.
Okay, and Charles is asking, will Ollie be given the full season next year? He has to protect the board. Big up Mr. B.
Big up Mr. B.
Host. He said, how long do you think it would take for new players to bed in? Can we get back to that one? Charles is saying United fans have been impatient with every manager you've had. Louis van Gaal shouldn't have been sacked, he said, even though we didn't get in the top 4, won the FA Cup. You guys do great shows. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we converting you to a Man United fan? I don't know.
Yes,
sounds that way. Mr. B's shouting Fred, I think to do with players that are on the verge of leaving or not good enough, that Big Phil was saying. And Charles says, disagree with Lindelof and Bailey. They are your best centre backs. Doesn't like Harry Maguire, and leave Martial alone. He says, yeah. Thanks for the comments, guys. Keep it
Thanks
coming.
for the comments, guys. Thank you. If you're watching, please hit that subscribe button, share button, like. We're the Man United agenda, and we're gonna hit the part 2 now. Last comment from Anthony before we go, and then
So Andy's saying Martial would suit Arsenal style of play. I would take it.
Yeah,
Andy's
it
an
would,
Arsenal
yeah.
fan.
he would suit
Everyone agree
Arsenal
with
as
that?
well.
He would, yeah.
Yep,
I
he would.
I
So,
think-
guys, go on.
Sorry, Munzi. Go on.
Monty, go on.
I bet anyone that can kick a ball will suit Arsenal at the moment.
Andy's going to come for you now. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Wait, where's the next comment?
So, guys, we're going to
Yes,
open up
host,
the room.
let's go.
We're going to open up the room now for everyone, and I'm going to just hit it off with that comment I've made earlier about obviously if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get it right, and also I'm not only blaming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'm actually blaming the coaching staff as well about the players. I honestly believe we're only about 2 players away from challenging from the title, and that's all we need now. Is I would say key area we need. We do need a centre back, and we do need a holding midfield player. But I'm going to say we need a holding midfield player right now. If he went out, we got it. I would say we've got the team, the squad to go ahead and challenge. Do you guys agree with me? And also, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the coaching staff, if he doesn't succeed in finishing second or challenging for the title, should I say, I'm not talking about finishing 20, 15, 20 points away. I'm talking about going toe-to-toe with Liverpool and Manchester and Chelsea. Would that be the end of him?
So I'll answer your question with a statement and then another answer, right? So in my opinion, right, the way you can tell if a team will challenge for the title, because everybody wants to say, we're 5 or 6 players or 1 or 2 players away from challenging for the title, right? And that's all good, right? But to me, the way you are challenging for a title, you must ask yourself one question. Actually, no, you have to ask yourself a whole host of questions, right? Who is your strongest first team 11, right? You have to ask yourself that question. We all know that in order to challenge for the title, we need squad depth, right? The second question you must ask yourself, if one of my first team players gets injured or suspended, right, or has to leave for personal reasons, right? If I look at the bench and I bring on this substitute, is that substitute good enough, not on the same level, but close enough to, make an impact on the game, right? So you can look at from David De Gea all the way to Edison Cavani or Martial, right? Ask yourself, if one of our first team players had to get injured and I bring on somebody from the bench, is that person good enough to make an impact on the day, right? That's a question I'll throw to you guys as well too.
Munzi, take that away. Go on, Munzi.
I've read that comment.
Yeah.
Sorry, I read that comment. I heard that, Munzi. I'm gunning you down. Bring it on, mate. I used to go to school with 16 Arsenal fans, so bring it on.
Where's your wounds? Your war wounds.
My hair, that.
So what do you think? Do you think we got back up in every position, like Big Phil's saying?
Not in every position we haven't. I'm still not sure about the goalie. Like you're saying, you were saying who wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be surprised if he let De Gea go. I don't see the point of getting Tom Heaton in if De Gea is going to stay there and have Lee Grant there as well, unless they need someone to put the board up for the substitutes. Lee Grant can do that. But yeah, we're not in every position. Like right back, Dalot, well, he's hopeless. Tellez, he can't defend. Tellez can't defend. Centre backs, well, Bayer's made out of glass. Lindelof's okay when people then, if he's playing against a young boy, he'll be all right because they ain't as rough. But when they're, big grown men, he don't like it. Harry Maguire's worth 80 million, I think, at the moment for United and England. Midfield, if I see Fred next year, I'm going to cry. You know what I mean? You can't have Fred and McTominay there. You have one or the other. Whether Pogba plays there or not, I think Pogba's better up top, changing the game with Bruno. But yeah, and then you've got also, I still think we do need a CDM. We need definitely a centre back before anyone else. And if it wouldn't have got Sancho, a striker, because Cavani's not the old Cavani. But yeah, not at the moment. We've not got everything we want. If we get everything we want, you're saying that there's no style of play. I think when we played certain games, we were brilliant. And then so I can see what you mean, though. we're not very good at holding on, defending. We're good at attacking teams, but we beat. I can't remember. We beat AC Milan. We beat. Oh right, we was holding on, but come back and beat Roma. Beat Spurs when we went 1-0 down. Beat them. I know we lost 6-1 to them, but that was because we were dodgy sending off. But yeah, last year was disappointing because Ollie was against the top 6. We didn't do nothing decent against the top 6. But the year before, he had a plan and thought, I don't know, I'll hit these on the break. But last year he didn't, so we need to improve on that. But we were beating teams below where we should be anyway. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm hit and miss with Ollie. But as I said before, December, if he's got all the people he wants in, and we're all saying, yeah, centre back, CDM, and then we've got Sancho as well. And he's not where he should be at December. He's got to go.
Okay, so I'm going to take this off to Armando now because I think we waved a little bit off topic. No, we need to come back on topic a little bit because with the coaching staff now, we're talking about, I know, and Monzi, you talk about sort of like style of play. Armando always talk about style of play as well, and breaking down teams. This is to do with, yes, it's to do with the manager, but also these days you're watching sort of like DVDs and stuff like that. So you're watching every team that plays football. So surely if the coaching staff go back to Carrington and actually sit down and watch the videos of, say, your West Brom, say your Crystal Palace, you know how they play, the style of football they play. So surely when it comes to training, you'll train the players in the way to break those teams down. But then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you got to remember, picks the team, but he's got to listen to what the coaching staff are telling him. So take it away, Monday.
All right, leave it on the full screen. Let's have a little chat here, man, because you know what my feelings on this. It's like, yeah, they do all the prep work. They do a review on the game. They have a pre-game meeting. They assess it. They give player instructions. And let's just give you an example. We played Burnley, and we got caught with playing a zonal defense on a set. How are they going to score against us? Open play? No. They scored with set play. And we had a zonal defense, and the guy got a run on Maguire when it shouldn't be. Like Monty was saying, we should have maybe gone man-to-man. But someone in the pre-game would have said, no, we're going to go zonal on set pieces. We go zonal, and then we pick them up. So they get a run of them, these big 6'5" units, and score goals against us, So that, I think, we continue with that. It's okay. Be brave enough to change it. So there is some. So yeah, in that respect, the coaching, that's an example where the coaching staff is going wrong, in my opinion, and breaking down teams. How are we breaking teams down? Monzi, you just saying that when we're attacking, we're all right. I disagree. When we're defending and soaking up pressure, and the players squeeze high against us, that's when we're all right. Because we, like Real Sociedad, for example, they tried to push or play high line. We beat them over the top. All the goals over the top. That's what I'm saying. We don't have a pattern. I can't think of my mind how we score our goals. I look at, just for example, look at England's goals the other day. Even Gareth Southgate, they scored 2 goals like Germany would score. Pop, possession, play in the box and pass it across the 6-yard box, score. It's simple as that. I don't see us having that sort of pattern of play. So that comes down to, there's coaching and insisting and drilling that into the players, saying this is how we score our goals. All our goals have been over the top, Rashford running onto it, bam, score, or that kind of thing. I'm generalising, but that's the kind of thing. I don't know what you two think.
Do you think that would be better if we got another centre back? Like, because we're playing these 2 holding midfielders, and if we had another centre back as good as Maguire, because I don't think Lindelof's ever been as good as everyone says he is. But do you think that would be any different if we had a holding midfielder and we have more productivity in the midfield?
Can I take that one? And I'll pass it on to Big Phil afterwards. It doesn't matter what player you get. You could go out there and you can spend 120 million on a centre-back. But for me, if the coaching isn't correct, it's not going to change. If you're using the same philosophy with the 2 holding players and you got sort of a centre-back, you are asking for trouble all the time, constantly asking for trouble. We're Manchester United. We should only be playing one in that middle and a holding midfield player. We shouldn't be playing 2, which is technically work out to be 9 players in the end. And then we then go out and buy a centre-back, which makes no difference, logic whatsoever. So for me, the gripe would be, why isn't the coaching staff relaying the information on correctly to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, or are they laying the information on to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Big Phil, but then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not listening to what they're saying with the conversation they're having?
Yeah, so to come to the coaching, one thing that we were abysmal at last season is ball retention.
Yeah.
Right? If I am a coach at Manchester United, I'm telling the back four and the two midfielders, I want you to pass this ball amongst yourselves about 25 times, just to put a number there, right? Pass it about 25 times and then look to create something, right? Because if I'm going to use the number 25, it gets everybody comfortable on playing or passing around the football, right? Amongst passing around that ball 25 times, I want you in a specific position when I pass this ball to you on the 10th time, on the 12th time, right? That is what a coach tells a team to do, right? No, after 25 times, let's say on the 23rd time, a guy like Bruno or Paul are going to position themselves in a specific spot on the field because they're knowing that after this 25th pass, this ball is coming to them, and then they can then try something because Bruno and Pogba are our most creative entities on the field. Yeah, Luke Shaw is creative. Yeah, Marcus Rashford is creative, but I don't think they have the same creative IQ as a Bruno or Paul Pogba, right? So, in my opinion, I as a coach would want to start with ball retention, right? Pass that ball around between the back four. Also, some of our midfielders, you guys get comfortable on the ball. Even if you have to back pass to David De Gea, I'd rather back pass to David De Gea than to give it away in the middle of the midfield, right? Because as much as I'm a big Paul Pogba fan and some guys out there love to worship Bruno, they are also responsible for giving away the ball a lot, right? So that's where coaching must come in, right? If I'm a coach, I'm going to say, Bruno, those guys out there are going to pass the ball 25 times, right? So just chill for a little bit, right? On that 26th and 27th time, do your thing. But until then, let those guys pass around the football, right? That's where coaching comes in. I don't know if you guys agree with me or you have some different philosophy that you want to tell us, guys.
Yeah, all right. The 25 time ball, I get that as a drill for ball retention because that's something we're lacking, playing in their opponent's half and keeping the ball. So I get that, but I also think that Bruno like you said, he's get to the stage now. He's looking at these guys and saying they're not keeping the ball. So when I get it, I'm going to be the one making those progressive passes, and I'm the one who's going to dictate the play because he's taking it upon himself with the players that he's looking at that can't keep hold of the ball a lot of the time. You see the frustration in the player. That's just my observation anyway. But the drill, get a drill that gets us going, which gets us comfortable playing easy in their half, and that way the defense can slowly move up and we can start dictating play in an opposition half and breaking teams down that way. And then the patterns of play will come eventually, especially if our fullbacks are wide and we can whip in crosses more and do that kind of thing. Remember last season, Big Phil and Soda, we were talking about the fullbacks, especially the right back, developing his game going forward and being able to get more assists, crosses. If you look at Liverpool, for example, or Man City, their fullbacks, they get a lot more assists than us. So that's something, for example. I'm not saying that's the way we go forward, but that's an example of how you get more players into the game and have more philosophy. The season Liverpool won the title, Robertson and Trent, they were killing it for assists. You know what I'm saying? So they're obviously bombing on, whipping in crosses and scoring goals like that. So I just want to see a bit more development like that. And when, like you said, if we are keeping the ball, the 25 pass in under pressure in their half is great, but then we need to, like you say, when it's showtime to open it up, there has to be something. Don't just leave it to the imagination of Bruno or Pogba. It's got to be something drilled to say, right, both overlap, cross, and numbers in the box, for example, that sort of thing.
So
I just want to add one more thing. I'll take 10 seconds, right? A team that has possession will kind of frustrate the opposition, and all it takes is for one or two players on the opposition side to fall asleep, right? Because if I'm just passing, if the opposition is just passing around, I'm gonna be like, and then once I fall asleep and I can pick up that an opposition player and fall asleep, then I try something.
Yes, agreed.
So I was listening to Calvert Phillip was doing an interview the other day on Sky, and he was talking about Bielsa and method and what Bielsa does in training. And And what he was saying was, if you lose possession in ball, he'll go get you to do it, and you've got to keep doing it. And if you lose it, basically, there's going to be consequences. Now, at Manchester United, I think some of these guys, because they're high-profile players, they're getting paid a lot of money, they've got a manager, and I know what, Big Phil, you're saying. It's obviously Carrick's trying to become this person who's trying to become the Ferguson. I know, obviously, we're talking about the Rio Ferdinand interview and saying about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a mean streak to him. Not for 1 minute, I believe, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a mean streak to him. And the reason I say is I heard and listened to Roy Keane, and Roy Keane said in his interview on Sky Sports saying he's the softest person you would ever meet in your life. That just tells me.
Manzi.
Yeah. What?
Lindsay, you there?
Yeah. Sorry, did I miss something? You asked me
Yeah, you
something.
did. We were just saying, but obviously Roy Keane was talking, and we were saying Rio Ferdinand said apparently he's got like a nasty streak within Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But listen to Roy Keane. Roy Keane said he hasn't got like a bad bone in his body. So we're talking about the Bielsa. Obviously, with Bielsa, when Bielsa is doing his training, what Calvin Phillips was saying, when they're doing drills and stuff, if you mess up, you'll know about it.
Yeah, but Roy Keane says anything just to get on the papers, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Well, I'm just going by what Rio Ferdinand said. But I don't know. As I said, I'm not in or out, Ollie. So, as I said, December time. Gets to December time, come back to me, December time, and then we'll have a discussion where we are. If we're bottom 3, get rid of him. But yeah, I go through like I sit here with my son, and my son's like Ollie out, and it's like, shut up. Do you know what I mean? It's like
you need to bring him on the show. Me and Amanda will like it.
I've seen United play appalling. I've seen players like, how the hell Phil Jones playing in centre midfield 1 year.
Phil Jones is better than Lindelof. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, exactly. But Phil Jones, as soon as you touch him, he's injured. So you know what I mean. The amount of money we spent on Phil Jones, we could have got the roof done. Do you know what I mean? But
very true.
I don't know. I'm like that. You know, we should have. At the end of the day, we should have won the Europa League by far. I watched the show about the Europa League. Should have won that. Disappointing. Then all of a sudden, bang, get Sancho. Yeah, whatever. If we get Varane, then you know it's going to be different. And then hopefully just see what happens. I know you say better players don't help it, but I don't know.
I'm not convinced. That's all I'm saying. I'm not convinced. With the coaching staff there.
Everyone's saying, yeah, get Poch in, but he couldn't even win a Tim Bot.
No, but I'm not talking about getting a manager in. What I'm trying to say is coaching. The coaching staff, I don't believe, is experienced enough. You got an unexperienced manager at the club.
Mike Phelan's been there for ages.
What does Mike Phelan do? We don't know what Mike Phelan do. Mike Phelan might make a cup of coffee, and that's it.
I can't remember. I don't even know the other bloke's name. Not Carrick.
Kenneth was his name?
What's he done? Yeah. What's he do?
He's a water boy. He's a water boy.
He was at Spurs before. He's involved in the youth setup, but apparently he's a good coach.
The good coach is good.
But they don't. You know, I sit there at some games, and me and my son go, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" Well, you shouldn't be saying who's that. Who's that? When Fergie was there, you see Brian Kidd, you see Pit Manager, you see. You know what I mean? Yeah, Quiros towards Steve McLaren. Do you know what I mean? It can't be that hard if Steve McLaren can coach. Do you know what I mean? It can't be hard.
Apparently, he's a great coach. Steve McLaren's a great coach. Just keep, for example, right now, like if you look, we're watching Euros and all that kind of thing, but Italy have beaten Belgium 2-0. And if you look on paper, Belgium probably got the higher
they're rated number one.
They're rated number one. But Italy have a formation, a style of play. If you look at it, they've got Vialli on the bench.
I think it's 2-1 now.
His partner with Mancini. Okay, so but they got a way of playing. They got a style of playing, which is Italy. We know that's Italy. That's how they play. Defensively sound, squeeze the game tight. This is how they play throughout the whole league. Most of the teams in the league play a certain way. But I'm thinking now, we've lost that kind of ID. So I want us to have an ID again where we say, oh, yeah, that's United are going to come for you and we're going to do this, you know? And people know it and he still can't stop it, that kind of thing. But at the moment, that's why I'm not going forward. You guys keep saying December or 15 games in. I think that's a big mistake because the players don't change that. The philosophy does. And the philosophy is right. Players who come in know what to do.
Sorry.
So the coach has got to be improved throughout, from manager down.
I got a question, right? If someone had asked you last season, we're going to finish second above Liverpool, you'd have bit their hand off.
No.
Every one of you would have bit their wouldn't have bit their hand off after Liverpool.
Nope, I wouldn't have. Nope.
I would have.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. For me, and I keep saying, and I do quite a lot on this show, and a lot of people probably think I'm ignorant and things like that, but this is my true beliefs. And I don't think because we're Man United, we should be superior to everyone else. But the way I look at it, we are Man United. We are the biggest club in the world. We should be finishing top of the league every single season without fail. We should not be sitting there finishing second and then surprise and celebrating finishing second. And so we bite people's hand off to finish second. We're Manchester United. That's all my interest is. And we are the best club in the wide world. And we should be top of the league.
Yeah, just to add to that, Solo, I think that it's a bit of a... finishing second, I don't think it might be surprising, but when you look at Liverpool drop off, like Chelsea sat their manager, the season was all over the place. We didn't lose away from home. There's no fans there. Let's see when fans there, what difference that makes to the players.
Pressure.
You know, it makes a huge. They don't call it 12th man for no reason. So I think this last season was really hard to judge. You can't gauge anything on that. We were fortunate that other teams dropped off. Other teams around us really dropped off badly. Like Liverpool, losing 6 games in a row at home. That kind of thing, or being off the pace, because from 90 points to like struggling to get 60 or 70 when they finish with 70. You see what I'm saying? That's a big drop off. So I think we can't fall asleep easy and thinking, yeah, we're a second place team. We're not. If you look at it, because those other teams have good management and good coaching, and this is at the end of the day, that's the foundation they're building on, and that's why they will be up there again this season. I think. We can look at Thomas Tuchel's come in. And we can guarantee, after winning the Champions League now, the confidence they've got, they will have momentum and they will have a style of play and they will have a manager who won't take it. Everyone's seen him in training previously in Germany when he's grilling players and having a go, and he's defiant like that. You know, he's not having. He doesn't care about reputations. Then we know about Klopp in his style of play, gung ho, heavy metal style of football. On beats down the players, but they get results. You know, and then we've got Pep who plays tiki-taka and controls the game with possession. You know what I'm saying? So what are we bringing to the table?
And to do the last comment, I'm going to leave the last one to Phil before we go into the comments. So Phil, you have the last say.
We've said a lot in the last 2 to 3 minutes, right? To respond to on Monday, I will say straight up, it's not our fault that Liverpool had Van Dijk injured or Liverpool were playing poor. It's not our fault that Frank Lampard couldn't get the best out of Timo Werner and Dry Havertz. But at the end of the day, when that was happening outside of Old Trafford, we were taking advantage of that. So I do give Ole and the guys a little bit of credit. However, right, in a realistic situation, I do agree with you, right? Because a fully fit Liverpool and a fully fit Manchester City right now, as much as I hate to admit it, are levels above Manchester United right now.
Agreed.
So let's hit some of these comments.
Yeah, Anthony was saying Martial style would suit Arsenal. We said that already. It's taking you down, Munster, so be prepared. Muncie.
It's coming for you.
So we're saying here that Ollie spent 300 million and still haven't won anything. So what are our thoughts on that? Can I quickly add to that? Like after 2 years with Klopp, they still hadn't won anything. Didn't spend the money. They only won anything once they got the players in, like the good goalkeeper, the good defender, everything else. Go on.
Is one manager of the month that count? Is one manager of the month that count?
Muncie, this one's for you from Mr. B. Quickly, what formation should Man United be playing?
Pass. Next question. Oh, sorry, we're not on the quiz. I think we should play 4-3-3, but have two like Bruno and Pogba forward and one sitting back. That's what I think, and then two out wide and one in the middle.
Pogba will be sitting back there.
That's what not
Talk about
possible.
here. Charles Williams talk about the business decision to give Lingard a new deal. Doesn't necessarily mean he's playing. I think he's just saying about maybe extend the deal so we can get more money for him. Maybe is that what he's saying?
Cool.
Charles also saying it's a banter thing with Liverpool and Man United. He's not going to convert to us. And with Sancho, he's saying just one player, Sancho. You should be challenging the big teams out there. That's a bit of banter. Anthony's asking if Harry Kane joined Man United, would I be excited about this? Because I always say how poor Harry Kane is. I don't want Harry Kane near the club. Don't know. You guys know? Yes, no, Harry Kane?
Nah.
I think that's a no, unanimous.
No. No.
Charles Williams is saying only Chelsea.
No.
In answer to subs having player for player. Charles again saying United midfielder, it's awful. Think about it. Fred, Mata, Matic. Not good enough. Sweet Jesus is the perfect evolution of beards. Talking about the paddle here. Anthony's saying if we sign another centre back like Maguire, who would it be? Who would you like, and who would it be, and why? We can get onto that. Who we buying if we don't buy another centre back? And no, not another Harry Maguire. We need a defender with different attributes. So so the question quickly they're asking is who would you buy? What sort of centre back and why? And do we need another?
For me, it's the Koundé from Valencia. From where is it? From Sevilla. For me.
Sevilla.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. I'm watching Varane in the Euros, and I don't want him. I've never wanted him, but obviously he's a world-class player. But I've seen against Switzerland, for example, he got destroyed for those goals, the header.
Varane.
You think Varane then? Yeah.
Yes. In my thing now, like I mean, you can say Varane has been suspect versus one game in Switzerland, right? But don't forget, this is the same Rafael Varane that is part of a Champions League team that won, as part of Real Madrid, who won the Champions League 3 times in a row, right? There's a Rafael Varane that was probably one of the best defenders at the 2018 World Cup, right? France, on the whole, didn't have that good of a tournament, but if I were to choose another center back, I would choose Varane, not only for the reasons I just mentioned, but when I see Varane and Maguire next to each other, it reminds me of like Lucio and Walter Samuel at Inter Milan when Jose Mourinho was there, right? Both of them aren't the quickest. Well, Varane is a bit quicker than Maguire, but both of them definitely are very solid. And let's see what the next couple of weeks brings, man. Hopefully Varane will sign, or as Solo said, Koundé from Sevilla.
You know what, Big Bill and Solo? Someone was saying to me the other day, we don't give respect where it's due. Someone saying Maguire is better than Varane, and he's a world-class player. It wasn't me saying that, but people are saying these sort of things now. That's how we're talking about Maguire. And these are neutrals as well. Yeah. Neutrals from Europe and all that. All these pundits saying Maguire is awesome for England. Watching on the big stage, they're saying this now. So I think he's in the argument of one of the best players in Europe.
I used to criticize him, and I got to give him credit, because when we lost him for those 2 games, we missed him, and I got to give it to him. So
in someone's absence,
we need someone just to play alongside him who's got that physical present. But probably for me, we always talk about pace. I don't really care about pace, providing that person can play alongside him, can read the game well enough. I'll take anyone. And for me, like I said, Koundé from Sevilla, that's who I'll take at United. Because I watched him, like, he hasn't featured for France a lot, but in the games he's featured, he doesn't look too bad. Yeah. So
anything better than Bailey and Lindelof anyway for now.
Any more last bits of comments, and then we're gonna run it down, guys.
Let's have a look. No, that's it. Just to say to Mr. B, Anthony, Polar Knights, Charles Williams, and that's the lot. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Appreciate it, guys. Literally appreciate it, guys. Monza, thank you so much for coming on. Pleasure having you part of the team now. Thank you. As always, we got Big Phil in the house. We all know who Big Phil is. He's part of the family, part of the furniture. And then we obviously got on Monday up the top there, our quiz master and part of the furniture as well. And you got myself, Solo United 7. And guys, we'll be back here on Monday night for a fantastic show, when we're going to bring the Armory to studs up. So you're going to catch myself on Monday, Big Phil, Mr. B, and we got a special guest that we're not allowed to tell anyone about yet.
Ooh, tell us now. Come on.
We're not
who is
allowed
it?
to say. We're not allowed to
spill the
say.
beans. I don't
No,
like
we're
seeing
not
Roy
allowed to
Keane.
say.
Yeah,
Roy Keane.
Yeah.
Roy Keane, that's the one.
Roy Keane.
We got Roy Keane.
I
yeah,
can
we got
tell
Roy
you, it
Keane.
won't be me. It's not me.
So, guys,
Not me.
listen, and then we'll be back on Wednesday night, and we're going to have Amy. We're going to have
Yes, Amy.
OS hosting. We're going to have Mr. B on it.
Yes.
You back on as well, Monzi? You back on Wednesday as well?
I'm
with the team?
on, I'm on Friday. I'm on Red
Friday,
United
okay.
TV.
Yep.
On Red
And then,
United
guys-
TV.
Brilliant, guys. But we are Man United Agenda. We try to give you as many contents as we can on the channel. Please hit that share, subscribe, and like button. And we're back on Monday for the Studs Up show. And if you are watching as well, remember Thursday night is our quiz night on the spot as well. So thanks to everyone for watching, and have
Have a
a
nice
lovely
weekend. It's a good
Have a
night
nice
from
weekend,
me.
and it's a good evening from me.